When your business starts to grow, it's tempting to start working 24/7, micromanaging every detail, and think, I can do this better. You might even find yourself losing temper over your employees because they are not doing the right work or doing it the same way you could. They are just not meeting your expectation. Does this sound familiar? The truth is, chaos is part of the growth. But every business goes through this, and this is avoidable. In this video, I will tell you how to make a business from an old rusty car into an actual Rolls-Royce that is cruising through the work, cruising through the business, cruising through all the problems, and is actually able to avoid the chaos and grow. I will give you templates and some basic understanding of how to troubleshoot your business in order to make it to the next level. If we haven't met before, hi, my name is Klim, and on this channel I talk about productivity, business, and personal development. I share evidence-based strategies that can make sure that you are loving the work you do and your business is thriving. The main problem is growth without a system equals chaos. I think it's unavoidable for every single first-time founder to go through this pitfall. It's something that you don't really think about. You're just growing, you're having fun, you're hiring people, you're firing people, you're moving so fast, your revenue numbers are going up, especially in a startup. And it's not really something to think about, to have a system, to have some things, documents where you explain everything that you do. It's not really a sexy thing to do. So what happens is that the company grows, the system are still there, but they're just not documented. They're all inside of the employees that are working in the company right now. To be honest, most of the founders stop themselves at some point and they're frustrated with inefficiencies and just frustration about how people are working, and they're not doing exactly what they were asked for or what they were even hired for. The main things when founders find this is either through three things. First is too much micromanaging. This is, like I said, when you just hire your employees and you used to do the work, or maybe one of the co-founders used to do the work. It's really frustrating when you hire someone who actually is really good and he was doing great work at other companies, but you're just not happy with him. Why? You're not sure he's not doing the same thing that you were doing. And probably as a founder, it's impossible to think that someone else can do the same job you do. But there is a solution. The next thing is overworking. When you're actually a founder, you expect yourself to overwork. You work more than the norm that people used to work in the office. Why? Because you're so involved in the business. Even if you're not a startup, you're a small business, you're expected to work more in order to boost your business from the ground and start actually earning some money from it. But it's impossible to think the same way about your employees who you hire. They will actually try to clock in their hours, even they're really engaged in your company, and they won't work 16, 18 hours a day because that's impossible for them and that's not their business. They won't actually be able to work this way. The third thing is inconsistent employee performance, either between employees or even for the same employee. You actually sometimes find that the founders hire people and they expect them to work really hard and they expect them to do the same amount of work as the best hires in the company. But that's not how it works. Again, you expect someone to work really, really hard, but if you haven't given a system of what exactly the person is supposed to do, what is he supposed to present, what is his actual result of work, there is no way that the person will be able to work that way. To be honest, all of that, overworking, micromanaging, and inconsistent performance is not bad hires. It's about not having a good system that enables the good people to do the best work they can. This has happened to me many times. One of the times I hired a person, Peter, who was great. He actually just lost the job, not because he was fired, but because the company went bankrupt, and he was actually the MVP of the company. Everyone loved him. But when he went to my company, I basically didn't understand what was the fuss about him. Why did everyone love working with him? Because he was not actually delivering what I wanted. In the end, I realized I hired him because I was so excited to work with him without actually writing down what he is supposed to do, what am I expecting from him, and I didn't onboard him the right way for him to do the best job. As soon as I gave him the requirements, what I'm expecting and what he's supposed to do, it went buttery smooth. He's one of the best employees I ever had, and it's great to see that I could have fired him because I wasn't so happy with him, but actually I needed to look into myself, write down the performance, the requirements, and he basically grew and showed himself as a professional. So what is the solution for this problem? Actually, it's incredibly simple. What you're gonna do is sit down and write down the first thing, the template. It will be the structured way of actually organizing the laws and algorithms of your company. You might think, what is that? Why is it so bureaucratic? What are the laws? What are the algorithms? That seems like a lot of paperwork for no reason. But actually, it's super simple. You just create a couple of laws. You can do it in Google Drive. You can do it in any other fancy system like CRM or anything else. You actually write down the things that each employee is supposed to work. Let's look at ordering parcels for the e-commerce brand. So you have to send the goods in something, right? Like a parcel. So you have to order them. This process can seem very easy. And as a founder, you probably did it 100 times, to order 100, 1,000, 10,000 parcels in order to send them later to a customer. But if you think about it, how is the employee that you hired to do this work, or maybe have different parcels now for different types of items you're selling? How is he supposed to know what you're expecting of him? What is he supposed to actually confirm with you? Or is he just free to do whatever he wants? Is there a budget and things like that? You're not really required to write down all the details, but the most important one for the business, I would assume, is the budget, the amount of confirmation there is needed with you, the structure of the bag, maybe some pointers, what you like and what you want the brand to be. Is there a brand book he has to follow? And things like that. That's the law. If this law is inside the company, you're basically giving this document. I mean, it can be a printed one, it can be on Google Docs, like I said, and you just give it to him and say, yo, look, this is what I'm expecting. Let's talk about this. Do you have any questions? Do you have feedback? Let's order some parcels. And you will not have a problem for a long, long time. And if there is a problem, look at your law. Did it specify this? No, add it. If it didn't, and there's still a problem, or the person didn't follow the law, then there should be repercussions for this person because he didn't follow the law. We'll get to this in a minute, why this is so important. When is the law or algorithm required? Basically, when the business has suffered some financial loss, or it's expected to have a huge budgeting for this and it's not actually able to suffer any losses, or it will basically go bankrupt, or there will be a huge debt. The most important thing is these rules and laws need to be extremely clear, adaptable, and also arguable. It's not like something you have to write. Sometimes it's even good to say, okay, can you write down the law and then we'll talk about it? And then you can come back to me and say, what do you think about it? Is there anything else you can add? Or even talk to other departments to check if they're okay with it. I think it's extremely important that you implement this because the laws and algorithms already exist in your business. They're just either inside your head or inside of your employees' heads. And it's so difficult to hire more people, to pass down knowledge, to scale your business without the chaos if you don't have them written down. Maybe the first steps is not for you to write down some laws, but maybe some trial laws your colleagues or employees or even the heads of departments can write. And then you can argue and choose which one you want to implement. So how to implement your first laws and algorithms? It's extremely important the first law and algorithms that you implement is the template for creating law, for creating algorithm, and for editing it. So for example, if there's a bad one, or it's outdated, or it's just stupid, anyone can come with the actual way of editing it or deleting it altogether. That's the number one step. Without it, nothing else should be done. There actually needs to be procedure to doing this, to editing, to deleting, because in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, some laws can be outdated, as I said. So make sure to start with the procedure to edit it. Slowly introduce systems, trying to implement one law or one algorithm every 2 weeks max, because otherwise you will flood the system too much without actually making sure that everyone comprehends it and everyone follows it. Actionable thing to do right now, choose one chaotic thing in your business, one, and write down the list of how you would solve it. Make sure to implement, okay, for example, if I was this person who was doing this extremely annoying thing for me, or it wasn't really organized, what I would do, write down it step by step, and even that can be a law or algorithm to start with. It's extremely easy to do, and it will, believe me, solve a lot of issues and budgeting for you. The mistakes that you should avoid is not to overwhelm your employees. Employees cannot actually comprehend more than 3 things at a time. I would say 3 things in a week, but for me it's too much. I would say 1 law and 1 algorithm every 2 weeks to make sure you check what they're doing, to check that this is a good law, and to check that it's actually actionable and usable. Focus on quality over quantity. The next thing is also extremely important. Don't implement anything without actually thinking about consequences and how you will check that it's followed. Because otherwise you're just doing busy work, you're creating bureaucracy without any reason, and it's not gonna be helpful to anyone else. A rule that is not followed is the worst thing you can do in your business. You should not actually be doing the things without making sure that it is followed. Otherwise, you're just creating more chaos with the rules that there are consequences for, but no one is following them, and people just feel frustrated and not actually believing that ever these rules will be legitimate. Regular reviews are just as important as anything else. So take a time, every 3 months I would say, check all your rules, check all your algorithms with your team, and have a brainstorm of what you can delete, what you can adjust, and what is no longer needed. Treat this as an ongoing journey. I think you will never stop with this creation process. The laws and algorithms, they will thrive. If you create a good system, they'll actually be created by themselves and be edited by themselves, by the team and employees who are great at work, who actually are engaged in the business and who care about the result. So if you like this video, I think you would like this one.